Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Jerry's Old Guy Review, and we're back to basics. Another family member in the 1/12 scale military family. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. You don't hear this very often. This rock hobby Type 82 Kubelwagen, as it's pronounced in German, is on sale right now, $169. Go buy one. Just go buy one. If you have any love of military accuracy, go out and buy one. If you love HGs and you have the Hemmets, you have the MRAP, you have the Humvee. Don't care if the scales are off from what you have, go and buy it. I'm going to tell you, I do not get impressed that easily. This truck has impressed the crap out of me. And I'm going to tell you that Rock Hobby, as I've done the research for this video, did their homework. And oh man, did they do their homework to the point that they had designers using the real vehicle to design this. It blows me away. I was all ready to impress you with my vast World War II knowledge, as I have shared with you guys. My useless knowledge pours out of me for no good reason other than it's a day of the week. This vehicle, when you take, like Tamiya used to do with their tanks, Tamiya's tank units, if you don't know, when you got the sound kit for them, it was an actual recording of a real tank that it was replicating. Their Sherman tanks, sound kits are really Shermans. The German Leopard tank, real Leopard tank. That is the only thing missing from this vehicle. And for what you get, for $169, I will tell you honestly, I looked right over this. A 110 scale, the Suzuki, the Jimny they have. And they have the Kommandowagen, and they have the Willys Jeep. For $249 for a 1/12 scale, I thought was ridiculous. So I just looked the other way. Rock Hobby sells the 1/6 scale Willys Jeep for $349. Why wouldn't I just spend the extra $100 to go from 12 scale to 6 scale? Now I'm rethinking it. This vehicle, with what they've included, is crazy. So let me stop babbling on. We'll talk about the history of the Kubelwagen as we proceed. Now, of course, yes, you get a truck. Now let's go to the box, which it comes in. Oh, we're going to have to scale up for that. This is a replicated ammo box, a German ammo box. Square, looked like a jerry can to me, but not what it was. Oh, wrong side. Look at that. This is reminiscent of HG. It doesn't have magnets, but it has real clips. With all your storage compartments, you fit the radio. You get a tool kit with a wrench and a little screwdriver and the charger for the little battery. But you fold the windshield down, fold the mirrors, truck goes right in there. This $169, crazy. So there's the box. We'll get rid of that. What they include with literature. So it gives you the whole skinny of prepping the vehicle, the windows folding down, how to do the window, how to do the spare tire opening up the hood. The scale, it's going to show you that there might be a little gap, but that's normal. And it shows you the different ground clearances. This truck had almost 12 inches of ground clearance in real life, and they replicated it in 1/12 scale. Crazy. Oh, I gotta scale that back down. Now, what else they include is the KUBELWAGON book. And this book, for a little pamphlet that comes in different languages, is amazing. You got all your normal safety precautions, blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, page 6 starts with the full history of the development and the progression of the Type 82, a KUBELWAGON. And it continues on page 7 and 8 with, they do kind of their own little story on this one with redacted stuff, pretty fancy, on what they did to replicate the scale and the use or the way the truck was built. Now, this is something crazy. So you normally, in a book, you get the information about the parts of the truck. This gives you the real terminology for the real truck. You get all the exterior information. Then, on the next page, you get all the inside information. Windshield wiper motors, turn signal lights, fuse box, directional signal, speedometer, amp hour, oil pressure gauge. I could go on. And it actually shows you and tells you the actual parts of a real air-cooled Volkswagen motor. Crazy what they have chosen to do. And then it flips right into normal RC stuff. Now, it tells you there's lights on this truck. It tells you how to use them. It's got the only thing that is incorrect for the period for the vehicle is it has four-wheel drive. Not a huge deal, being that I am going to rally this truck outside to the extent of its abilities. And what abilities? I've played with it in the workshop. I drove it outside a little bit in the snow, four-wheel drive, portal axle rear end. And once again, don't think that Mercedes-Benz was the only one who started off putting portal axles in tractors. The KUBELWAGON is built on the chassis of a Volkswagen Bug, which started out life as in the 30s as the people car for good old Adolf that never seemed to make it into the hands of any actual people. So it saw a lot of different life as it was a commander's vehicle. It was a, here it is, a command type vehicle that troops could roll around in. It was the light truck that was the German equivalent of the Willys Jeep. So let's start looking at it. Now, I'm gonna manhandle it a little bit. We are gonna start with the details on it. So, this truck, you've got the hold down, the window. Let me make sure the mirrors are out of the way. Make sure the mirror out of the way, and folds down and locks. The mirrors, we'll get around to, have real glass material in the mirror. Wow. Gas filler, like the real one. Spare tire mounted with 5 screws, like the real one would be mounted with 5 bolts. Headlights, push bar. Actually got to get from the side. Actual metal tow hooks. Push bar is metal. Look at that. A replicated horn. And actually, let me see. Oh, I'm trying. It's got writing on it, but I can't tell. This little light right here, everyone's calling it an aircraft light. And yes, in World War II, it shined down in front so the guys could squint and try to see it. This was the precursor to what the military uses now that's called blackout drive, where a beam of light shines out, you can't see it. It's an almost IR, and you use night vision goggles and drive. So the front suspension on it is a torsion front suspension, which is identical. And I will tell you, I have what's called a sand rail, and it is a Volkswagen Beetle converted to a desert, or not even a desert, it's supposed to like a little dune buggy. This front suspension is the exact suspension on my 70s Beetlebug. They have little tiny springs right in there, and that's the torsion bar. Of course, there's a drive shaft in it, so it's 4-wheel drive, which it wouldn't have been in real life, but they did make some prototypes. Metal door handles, metal door latches, and this just blew me away. So let's go inside. This is almost completely accurate. There's a little piece that goes in here to cover this, but all your switches and doodads, your speedometer is actually reading speed. That little gray thing right at my fingertip is the on-off button. You have got manual wiper arm motors, not motors because they're manual, but you would turn those with your hands. They weren't electric. And that is crazy detail. This dashboard is identical to the real one. That push button start is identical to the real ones. You've got a shifter, you've got a park and brake, you've got your foot pedals down here, you've got this faux wood like the real one would be. These seats are actual, you can see that, they're material. This is a rifle holder, and the book tells you exactly what size rifle it was made for. That fit right in there. Now let's flip her around again with the doors flopping. So there's your doors again. You've got another back seat. You've got what looks like a battery or a storage box under the back seat. You've got the seat that a storage space, but you want to be careful. There's a shifter there, a little wire on it. You probably don't want to put something there. But look at the storage space. Look at the way the seats are. There's no screws, nothing. It folds completely flat. Look at that. Could you imagine this in a really big scale? The doors, you have to actually lock every one of them to get them to stay closed. Otherwise, they'll just flop open. And boom. Now we go to the back. Now here's the kind of the coup de grace before we get there. So you've got your aircraft light on the front. This thing's supposed to have a light in it too. So the guy behind you can see you, but it doesn't. It has another metal bar with more metal hooks. They're pretty tight to the body though, so it'd be hard to use them. But the coup de grace, a true 2-scale, 2-accurate Volkswagen air-cooled motor, which right here is the fan cooling unit for the motor. It actually spins, but I'll show you that. Distributor cap, oil fill. It's just all there, yearning for detail. Same thing with the exhaust. The exhaust is there on both sides. And here are your little baby portal axles. This vehicle had the ground clearance to follow tanks, and it could just basically, with the ground clearance, push itself because it had a locking rear diff and portals, so it could follow the big boys. Now, the torsion is a little weak, but with acceleration and braking, it pops it up real easy. So, yeah, torsion suspension, not awesome, but for the scale. The belly is just like a real one. Perfectly smooth, works itself right over obstacles. Nice, really soft rubber tires. And let's go, we'll put him over there. We'll go to this radio. Bone dead simple. AAA's, little hook. If you want to carry it, you've got the channel 4 that controls the different light modes. You got channel 3 that controls it. Said this thing was supposed to run in 2-wheel drive, but I haven't found a 2-wheel drive. There's 3 levels on here, and it basically is high and low. That's it. My usual, I've got buttons, I've got control, and it is excellent. So let's turn this on. And then, because no man on earth, well, maybe girly men, can fit their finger through there, I'll just do that. So default mode is no lights at all, except for brake lights, but they're finicky. So I'm still tinkering with them. So no lights at all. You have lights on low with no aircraft light. Then you have lights on high. Again, no aircraft light. And then you have aircraft light. So that LED's on. And then off. Those lights are great up front because you've got a normal glow, then a higher one, but this is the weirdy part. So first one, there's nothing back here. Then when you get the tail lights, they are stupid turn signals, but that's okay. Then you go to high beams. Again, you have turn signals. This is the one I don't understand. This is high with everything on, and your four ways are blinking. So, weird, but this is my favorite. On a 112 scale, how many 110 scales do we get that do that? Super cool. So, you go back in again with your fancy tool and turn it off, turn off the switch, and boom. I've tried a few different guys in it, but basically I use all those Halo guys that I have left over from my boy. So they're in all my 112 scales, so they fit in this one too. But wow. So next time you see this guy, he will be out on the trail driving around. But wait a minute, there is one important thing we should do. And there it is. 112 and 112. So Hemmets look impressive, but they are not super huge. But meanwhile, when you look at the Hemmet and see that the tires are about as tall as the windshield of this Kubelwagen, I think we're pretty on. And then, especially when you look at this. Let's move them. Let's put a little fella up close. I think that is a great representation right there of 112. I think when it comes to scale, I think HG and now Rock Hobbies has it figured out. So the little Kubel and the HG looking about right to me. There, that's even better. Look at that little fella. It's adorable. So, anyone else, give me your impressions of Rock Hobby. I have never had one of their products, but now I may have to look into them closer. So this is Jerry, Old Guys Review, and like and subscribe, shoot me some comments. I answer them all. Till the next one.